of nightmare stories of the other side. Today, I am in the basement cafeteria area of Edinburgh Manor, and I decided to start this podcast a little early as we wait for our guests to jump in, because just sitting here waiting, there has been activity coming through, and pardon me, somebody is calling, so I'm going to ignore that. Anyways, as I said, there's been activity coming through. Off to my left, I have a music box sitting on the chair. Nobody has passed in front of that yet. I do have a REM pod just in the doorway. That's a cafeteria, but it has been solid blue, but then blinking, and then some kind of sensor going on. I'm not for sure if it's heat related or what. And just beyond that, in the next hallway, there is a window that goes to outside. And I've seen two shadows. The second, and it is right to the door outside. You can see the door into the manor, but there is nobody else here on the property except for Coley and I, who she's upstairs in the kids' room. So the shadow is definitely too big to be a bird, but as I said, our other investigators won't be here until 3 o'clock. And then down the hallway by the janitor's closet, again, it is very dark down there because it's the darkest room in the manor. And right now, it more or less looks foggy, I think would be the right word. And I swear I've been seeing multiple orbs or something going back and forth, or what that is. So we'll get down there to investigate later and see if we can figure out what's going on down there. So yeah, anyways, things are starting to ramp up a little bit, which is great because this morning slow and not much going on. So just a lot of downtime to kind of rest up and think of how I want the night to go. And last night was a very active night. And kind of hard to explain, but I think one of the most unique things last night was, okay, I just saw something, again, black, run across the floor, like a little black shadow. So back to what I was saying, last night when we were in the kids' room, REM pod's going off. We were doing a spirit box session, and spirit was stepping, but you were also hearing the music box through the spirit box, and then it would go off, and it was going back and forth. So that was a very interesting occurrence. Don't really want to get into anything else last night because eventually we will have the video come out of this Edinburgh investigation, the one we did back in April, which I might actually tie the two together. So I have been here now at Edinburgh for almost 24 hours, and we'll be here till about 8 or 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So in context, we arrived Wednesday afternoon, we'll be leaving Friday morning, so 2 nights and a day here. And yeah, just looking forward to invest. And we got a few experiments planned. that involves investigating in the stairwell, which I hear has been really active as of late. The boiler room. Um, I honestly can't really remember else right now. And two guests that have joined from Kentucky, they kind of want to walk down to the graveyard later tonight, just check it out. But we will see what happens there because we are supposed to get storms. And that'll hopefully ramp up the energy. And I just keep hearing and seeing things down here now. And our guest coming on here in a little bit, Christopher, would probably think what I'm seeing could be a bat, but I've never seen a bat here at Edinburgh. So definitely not thinking a bat. So now I'm just going to wait and chill for them to join in and we can officially, besides just me and with our guests, I just heard a knock or left, which that leads to a couple storage coolers, access to the kitchen, an office area, and the laundry room. Not really for sure what's doing that. So it's not a full shadow, it's like a partial shadow. If you've never been to Berg Manor, you need to come check this location out. It is amazing. Somewhat active. Nope, you're crooked. No pun intended.
Well, sometimes depending on who, sometimes they ask you to turn sideways for that view. I mean, I can do it this way.
Yeah, I don't know what is going on. I'm gonna have to tilt my head.
I don't
It's
know.
so
I have no
bizarre.
idea.
I don't know if I can do anything. I'm already recording because I've been hearing a lot of interesting things in the last 15 minutes.
I'm going to try to get rid of my background and see if that does anything.
Okay.
Now you're just going to see my car, which isn't very pretty.
Nope. Yep. Now I just see the car.
Did that change anything?
Nope.
So I don't think it's on my end then.
Let me see what I can do. Wait, hold on. There's a button right there. There we go.
I'm going to try my background again then.
Okay. There you go.
And now I think I should be able to turn this way. Yeah.
Yep. This is the first time I've done a Zoom for my phone, so
I end up using my phone more than I want to, just because I'm always somewhere. I mean, I'm in my car right now.
Yeah, I'm in the basement cafeteria area because it is somewhat cool down here. It's about 90 degrees.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so not ideal, but that's what we had all last week.
Right. It's excruciatingly hot here.
Okay, I know Noah came in. Where up there he is. Hey, now I can see all three of us.
Hey guys,
How's it
Hey,
going?
it's going good. How are you?
Very hot and sweaty.
Oh, I bet. Where are you guys at?
I am in the middle of Iowa at Edinburgh Manor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when I got here, when I left Minnesota yesterday, it was 60 degrees and raining, and I had a sweatshirt on. Get down here, it's 90 degrees and sunny. I'm like, oh God.
Oh, I know. I think it's like 92 over here, so I get it, man. Just stay hydrated.
Oh, I've been drinking plenty of water and trying to find the cool places, and I'm surprised I have service. I'm in the basement right now.
That is surprising.
So, anyways, I will jump right in. As I was telling Christopher, I already started the podcast, me just rambling on about 15 minutes ago because I've been seeing and hearing quite a bit down here in the basement. So, anyways, with that said, welcome to another edition of Nightmare Stories of the Otherside. Today, I welcome in Christopher Lee Jansen and Noah Flynn of Crooked Path Paranormal. Welcome, guys.
Thank you
thank
so much
you.
for having us on.
So, I will start with you, Noah. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so again, as he said, my name is Noah Flynn, and I've been a paranormal investigator now for a little over 2 years. But I've been dealing with the paranormal since I was a young kid with a lot of experiences I had that really infatuated me with this idea of what is on the other side. And, I started out by watching all of the famous ghost shows, ghost hunters, and all of that. And it really got me infatuated with the whole thing. And as I grew into my early 20s, um, I had a longtime friend of mine that was also just as interested in the paranormal, and we decided, hey, why don't we buy a little bit of equipment and go around with a video camera and try to capture all the things that, that we're finding. And along that path, that's actually how I had met Christopher. And whenever I had this crazy idea of, hey, I want to devote my life to finding what is on the other side. And I reached out to Christopher and was like, hey, how do you feel about joining a group together and really taking our paranormal investigating to the next level, which is what led to Crooked Path?
Nice. Yeah, and you couldn't have picked a better partner. Christopher is awesome. I can attest to that after spending a week with him. Had
Just
a
the
lot
last
of,
couple of weeks, we've had some of the most insane experiences of my life, and I've had a lot of insane experiences. So there's that.
yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I'm still kind of looking into some of the other stuff that we encountered along the way. And as I say that, the REM pod is going off again.
Nice.
So, a quick question for you guys. What does the blue light on the REM pod mean?
I don't actually know.
Neither do I, because it's been
I
like,
mean, some of them have a separate temperature sensor.
yeah, because that's been going off fairly often since it's so hot here, but that's like a red flashing light, right?
So yeah, so from and I could be completely wrong in this, so take this with a grain of salt. But I think the blue light being one of the like outside lights of the because I think that's like actually like whenever like essentially something is going to touch the antenna of the REM pod, I think that's basically like kind of a proximity thing in a way because I think like the farther away you are, like the the outermost part of the REM pod when it starts to go off
Yep.
will be green, and then as it goes like more towards like it'll go blue, purple, and so on and so forth. And that's where like where you get like the solid like red like blinking light. I think
Yeah.
that's like essentially if somebody was like grabbing a hold of that antenna. And then I've noticed for the temperature gauge, it's like a really annoying beep
Yeah.
sound.
Because this one, the light is like a small blue light, not like the bigger one. And
Oh, okay.
right now it's just solid and has an annoying beep. But then earlier it was like flashing, blinking. I'm like, what is that?
I don't know that I've ever seen that happen. So that's interesting.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. I was just kind of curious.
Right. Yeah, I know I've only actually seen the REM pod malfunction one time, and that was at a place called Crybaby Bridge in Egypt Valley, which is actually pretty local to where I live. And when it malfunctioned, it just basically like would go off, but like in such a on and off rapid way that I've never seen before. But what you're talking about, I don't know if I've ever seen that, so that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, well, now the red small light's going off too. I don't know. Gotta
I got
love
nothing.
equipment. Huh, I don't know, it's kind of annoying, but I'll just let it go. If you're by the REM pod, can you step away, please? Well, it did for a brief second. So, Noah, where was your first ever investigation?
Oh, okay, that's a good one. So, my first unofficial investigation was at a place called Egypt Valley, which is only about 10-15 minutes away from my house. And it's more of a local legend where pretty much everybody that lives around me in the area, it's either that A, you've had an experience in Egypt Valley or you know somebody that's had an experience. And so that's why Christopher and I kind of have a whole thing going on there. And, you know, we're going to be out there a few times, kind of unraveling the different layers of what's there. But my first official investigation, where I actually had like a good bit of equipment and a couple cameras and stuff like that, was actually at the Moundsville Penitentiary, which is also pretty local. It's only about maybe a half hour from my house.
Okay. And Christopher, can you refresh people that'll be watching this podcast a little bit about your background and first investigation?
Sure. So I would say first and foremost, what most people associate me with at this point is that I'm a psychic medium. And I've been working with those abilities since I was 10 years old. I'm also an energy worker, a hypnotist. I've been investigating regularly for right around 10 years, but I've had a lifelong obsession with all things paranormal, all things scary, all things dark, even just ever since I was a very, very, very young child. But to add to all of that, I am the house psychic at the Fairfield County Infirmary, which I actually put up as my background. You can see the building behind me.
And it's an amazing building. You need to go check it out if you haven't been.
I agree. I'm pretty partial. No, my first official investigation was the Randolph County Infirmary in Winchester, Indiana.
And what did you have for your experiences there? I don't remember off the top of my head.
I connected to a living person that night. Whenever I say I connected to, I feel like I have to explain if I'm talking about the living or the dead. But I connected with a living person that night. Her name was Anne. She was a very sweet lady. She was also very gifted as a psychic. And she and I really just spent the entire night walking around and bouncing off of each other with what we were seeing, what we were feeling. Like I would see something with my eyes, and she'd be able to add to what I was seeing by saying what she was seeing as well. So we were very much on the same wavelength. And that really took up much of the night. I didn't do much with equipment. It's just we had a blast running around that building and bouncing off of each other.
Awesome. Yeah, it's always nice to make connections with living people besides spirits as well.
I would say, but for a more concrete response of what we experienced, I've probably seen more shadow figures in one night in that building than I have anywhere else.
Really.
Yes. It was just like
That's
constant, one
awesome.
after the other.
Yeah, speaking of shadow figures, like just down the hallway from where I am, in the last half hour, I've seen like probably three or four shadows go through a doorway, and it's like, okay, it's too big to be a bird flying outside, but there is only one other person in this entire building with me, and they're like right above me in a different room, so I know it's not her.
Some locations are very active during the day. I mean, I know when I've been alone at FCI during the day, that tends to be pretty active. Lots of noises and footsteps, other things going on. And even when the Davies house in Kokomo, Indiana was still open, I was there for 2 nights. So the day in between, they just allowed me to stay, and I was there by myself trying to get some writing done. I hardly got anything done. There was so much noise in the house, so much movement, so many shadows. I mean, just because the sun's out doesn't mean a place is unhaunted. So places can be
Oh,
very
right.
active during the day.
Right. It's been pretty quiet here up until about 1 o'clock. So I think they're slowly starting to wake up, and we're supposed to be getting some storms through here tonight. So that'll be nice, ramp up the energy, maybe cool it down a little bit.
Right.
Let's see. Noah, what other locations have you investigated and experiences?
Oh, okay. So, I'll kind of just run off a few that I've done that have kind of been the biggest and I think most influential to me. Obviously, the Fairfield County Infirmary, I got a shout out there for a multitude of reasons. Like Christopher said, it is just an amazing place to investigate. It's probably one of my favorite to go and visit, and it's also where I had originally met Christopher to kind of join this crazy group. A few other ones that were really big as far as I think so far in my personal spiritual journey. The Blair House in Ohio. Sorry, that's my dog. The Ross House in Blair, Ohio. Recently, we just went to the Ohio State Reformatory, which was pretty big for my spiritual journey. Madison Seminary, just to name a few of some really awesome places that I've went within the past year or so that have been really influential to me in not only experiencing new ways and better ways to reach that next level of paranormal investigating, but also just in my personal spiritual journey moving forward.
All right. So for you guys at Ohio State on that, you guys were there Monday, was it?
Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
Sunday? So I did see a video, I think, of you guys running down the hallway.
That
What was
wasn't
that
me.
about?
That wasn't me.
Yeah, that
That
was not
wasn't you.
us.
Okay.
We did not see any bats. People were tormented by bats all night, running and screaming. We didn't see any.
Okay, so that must have been the other people that you guys were with.
Yep, wasn't us.
Okay, nice. I was gonna say, I'm like, I wonder if that's Christopher running from bats again.
No, my streak is still unbroken. No bats at OSR, no bats at Madison.
Nice.
I didn't see any at FCI Con. I mean, I am on a streak.
And yep, you didn't see any at Post Town.
No, and that's a miracle.
We
Because Post
did,
Town is like the epicenter where the bats come from. Like they all
right.
come from there.
So, what kind of experiences did you have at Ohio State on Sunday?
um, well, interestingly enough, we had some pretty cool experiences with obviously a lot of the former inmates that were there. One in particular that was really cool for me, and a little bit of backstory on this as well. for those who don't know, I'm actually a corrections officer right now in my 9 to 5 job. So when I get to go investigate somewhere like a prison, it's typically pretty interesting if I announce that I am a corrections officer in those spaces. But what was cool was we connected with a spirit named Albert, and instead of not wanting to talk to me, he actually was a lot more into the idea of me kind of talking through the trauma that Albert had experienced being there, and from the evidence that we had captured, we believe that he was actually a member of the Crip gang from whenever the prison was running, and he had some issues, and we were able to, in the best way that we could, help him move on from his trauma that he had experienced while he was there. So that was really cool for me.
Yeah, it sounds like it. What about you, Christopher?
I think one of my favorite experiences of the night was in solitary when we connected to someone whose daughter seemed to have made her way there to the prison, missing her father. And he was concerned about her being there. Like, this is no place for a child. She missed him so much. She made her way there to the prison.
Hmm, that's interesting.
We tried talking them both kind of through it, and it's like, well, we couldn't force her to leave, and we couldn't force him to accept her being there. So it just kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
I feel like of
Um,
all the times I've been there, this was the most I've ever really had a chance to dive into something specific there. It's
okay.
so big. I often just spend time walking around. Something small might get my attention, but this was really cool. It was very memorable.
That's awesome. Yeah, it seems like every location you go to, there's always going to be, in some way a memorable experience. It's just like, for me, it's like everywhere I go, I get one of those too.
Oh, absolutely.
I think
Whether
that's
it's,
what's
no, go ahead.
I think that's what's like what makes the paranormal investigating so interesting, because you can go to all these multiple locations and always have an experience, or you can go to the same haunted location 100 times, and it's almost like every time you're going to have something new happen that's going to change your perspective on the whole thing.
Yeah. Like for me, like I think I might have, I'm sure I told you this, Christopher, but last time I was at Edinburgh back in April, there was an Estes session going on right where I'm sitting, and I'm actually sitting in the same spot that Natalie was sitting in. But I got pulled off to the kitchen because I heard some weird banging noise, so I wanted to go figure out what it was. And it was storming out, so like I eventually debunked that it was just a rain hitting this side metal piece of the building. But like 5 feet off to my left, I heard my daughter say "Dad" really loud, and where nobody said in 5 minutes she didn't talk. So there was like somebody mimicking her voice, and I heard it clear as day.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's always gonna stand out as like one of my top moments. It's like, okay, what the hell was that? Who was that?
Ooh. It almost reminds me of a time I got to FCI for an evening event. I don't know if it was flashlight tours or a public hunt, but there was only one other person there. And I went downstairs looking for her. She wasn't there. So I walked the second floor, walked the third floor. And the only place she can be is up in the attic. So I went up to the attic. When I got to the top of the stairs, I turned my head to the left and saw her there. And then she wasn't there anymore. And I turned my head to the right, and that's where she actually was.
That's insane.
I don't know what it was that made me see her there on the left. It was very strange. And when she wasn't there anymore, the way it looked to me more or less was like she just sort of moved into the wall. It was very unsettling.
Oh, I'm sure.
Haven't seen anything like that since.
That's crazy. So what else have you guys been up to lately? I think, did you have another investigation this week?
We were at Madison Monday night. Now, this coming weekend, I've got an event at Bill Manor on Saturday. We'll both be there. Sunday, we're headed to Stark Saloon in Rosedale. And then Monday, we're going to go walk around ISS. We're going to do the day roam there since Noah's never been. I really want him to see it before we make any sort of plan to go investigate and film there, just because it's so big.
Oh, yeah, it's
So it's going
huge.
to be a busy weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Madison was pretty nuts on Monday, though.
What kind of stuff was going on up there?
I-
I don't even know where to begin.
right. I'll let you start and I'll kind of piggyback off of you.
Okay. Well, I think I actually want to start with the last session of the night with Maddie.
I feel like if there was a session that needed to be brought up just because of the way that it happened, and yeah, that one has to be brought up because that one is going to be one that honestly, I was in the moment and I was having trouble believing what was going on at that time. Like I'm standing there and I think even I look at the camera at one point and I'm just like, what the hell is going on right now? Like it was so surreal. Um, so again, I'll let you kind of start and then I'll explain on my side of things.
So I think a lot of people know who Maddie is. She's a pretty famous doll that's associated with Madison Seminary. For anybody who watched the recent Twin Paranormal episode that I was in at the House of Wills, by their request, Maddie was there as well, and she was a big part of the night. We ended up taking a spirit out of that building inside of Maddie. We ended up rescuing her more or less. And we'd both noticed throughout the night as we were at Madison that the doll just wasn't feeling right. Her energy was not feeling normal. There was something that was off. And here's where you pretty much lose me since I was the one who was under her. So I think you're going to have to continue from here.
Okay. So yeah, because we had kind of sensed that Maddie just there was something about her energy that just didn't feel right. We decided that we should do an Estes method and ask a spirit named Jane, who, as of recently, and it's something we're still kind of in the middle of diving into, Jane has presented herself as kind of like my spirit guide, helping me along the way. And so we did an Estes method, and I reached out to Jane, and we had a few questions of the night. I don't even think anything specifically about Maddie was brought up by me. I know it wasn't me because I just didn't feel comfortable with Maddie just by the way that her energy had felt. And like midway through the Estes method, at some point, Jane through Christopher starts talking about that I need to go over to Maddie and look at her. And I was like, okay, if I go over and stand next to Maddie and I look at her, what do you want me to do, Jane? And she told me that I needed to speak to her with love and compassion. And basically, weirdly enough, as I'm doing all the things that like literally Jane through Christopher is like playing out scene by scene, telling me either what to do or talking me through what I'm doing. And she basically was teaching me how to do energy work on Maddie the doll to essentially clear her of the negative energy that was surrounded by her. It was such an interesting experience, especially because when it comes to the whole side of energy working and everything, I'm still so new to that. And
Yeah,
um yeah, it was so incredible of an experience. I'm still sitting here like, did that really happen? It was so incredible.
that sounds amazing.
When I reflected back on this afterward, I started to realize that I was so tired during that session, I was actually falling asleep. So, how these things were coming through so coherently and in such an order that it made sense and it worked, I don't know. I mean, I was so tired, I was falling asleep. I bet when we go back and review the camera footage, you're going to see my head just falling in a way that's not my normal, like, trance out channel. I was falling asleep.
Oh, I know it
That's
was.
crazy.
I know it was because I looked over several times, and that's exactly what you were doing. You were like falling over asleep. And at points, that's also what was kind of like I was sitting there like, this really is Jane right now. Like I'm not like Christopher's gone. He's like asleep right now. What is going on here?
Wow. So jumping forward, because you were mentioning Twin Paranormal, I just watched their episode from about 10 months ago when they were at Stark Saloon. Have either of you two been there?
I've been there numerous times, and we're going on Sunday.
Yeah, that'll
So watch out for flying rods. That's all I can say.
Lying rods or flying rods?
Flying rods.
Ah, okay.
So they were down at the bottom of the stairs, investigating, and all of a sudden you see this metal rod come flying down the stairs, and they all jumped and almost hit one of them. It's like, what the hell? So they were like, when they were doing B-roll footage, like at the top of the stairs, there was two like, I don't know if they were what would you call them, for curtains, like curtain rods. They showed two of them sitting there. Well, one of them got thrown over the railing, like up and over it and down the stairs. I'm
wow.
like, I'm
Wow.
like, that's really interesting. That takes a lot of energy to do something like that.
Yeah.
Well, one of the times I was there, there were just two of us. We were in one of the bedrooms upstairs outside of the brothel, and we heard this loud sound out in the hallway, and I went and looked, and one of the posts from the railing banister was missing. You could see a big space where it was. And where it landed, it's not like it fell out and went down the stairs. It landed across the hall. And there's no
Weird.
way that could have landed there unless it was picked up and thrown.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never
So that
experienced
so that
anything
was more
like,
at the top of the stairs. So there's something for sure.
yeah, I've never experienced anything like that yet, but hopefully someday.
You'll have to get there and see.
It's on the bucket list for next year, maybe. We'll see. We're trying to keep investigations somewhat close to home next year, with the exception of a few, but
There's so many places right there, though. I mean, Stark is so close to ISS and to Billy
yeah,
Creek.
yeah, it is.
And Billy Creek is one of my absolute favorite places.
Oh, we had a blast there when we were just there, what, a week and a half ago now?
My first time there, I was like a kid in a candy store. I didn't even know what direction I wanted to go first.
Oh,
I
I
was
know.
so
It's
excited.
like which way to go. It's like Natalie and I spent a lot of time in the schoolhouse communicating with Levi.
I have never had an opportunity to investigate that schoolhouse ever. The first time I was there, I walked past it in the middle of the night. The door was open, and I thought, who left that door open? That's how you get bats inside. And when I thought it, a bat flew out. I went, well, I'm not investigating the schoolhouse tonight. And I've just never gotten to it because always something else gets my attention. I've had great experiences in both churches, and don't even get me started on that Civil War house.
Oh,
What happened to me in that Civil War house changed my life.
that place is amazing. We didn't get to spend too much time in there, but it's definitely on our list to go back.
In October, I spent 5 consecutive nights in that Civil War house. I don't even know where to begin.
We read the book.
Right, right. There's a book coming out about this.
That's awesome. Let's see what else. So besides this coming weekend, what do you guys have in store for down the road?
We've got Ross House booked for 2 nights.
Fairfield, we're doing for a night where we have to
Yes.
essentially deal with the monkey room business going on.
Yes. You can
Um,
tell I get all excited about this. It's challenged me directly in a personal fashion.
Okay.
Now it's on.
we just booked our first official, actual like house visit where we'll be able to go and help somebody.
Right.
That's
And we're
awesome.
looking into Monroe House and Fort Duffield in the near future as well.
All right. Um, Noah, three bucket list locations that you'd like to investigate.
Ooh, one of them was actually the one that you guys were just at, which was Waverly Hill Sanatorium. That one is I think it's probably on my number one bucket list. I don't know why. I've always thought that place was super, super cool and I'd love to go there. The second one probably being the Conjuring House in Rhode Island. I really like the movie and I really like the story behind it. And it's almost also just one of those places that because of all of the hype from the movies and stuff like that, I feel like there's a lot that gets misconstrued about the actual story of things, and it's kind of like one of those places that I want to go and experience for myself to kind of like understand the difference between the real Conjuring house and what you see from the movies, and then um honestly, I don't like. I would say my third place isn't necessarily like a huge place in the sense of like where people just go and have massive investigations, but it's obviously very interconnected in ghost hunting, and that is the Home and Haunted Museum of Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Nice. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
I would love to get there myself.
Right, just to be able to go and see everything in their haunted museum would be such a cool moment, especially with how influential they've been for me and in my spiritual journey.
Yep. So one other question I have is it just kind of popped in my head earlier this morning. So your team name, how did that come about? There's always a story behind a good team name.
Um, so actually, so I'm the one that came up with the name. And I guess it's not a super, super interesting story, but I guess so. I was actually sitting at work one night, uh, in the correctional facility that I work in, and I was sitting at my desk for the night, and I really was just sitting there brainstorming like all these different names because I was like part of the battle is coming up with a catchy name that's gonna really stick in people's minds. So I think I had a sheet, and it was a super long sheet where I'd sit there and I'd try to meditate on like different ideas of names, and I probably had like 50 different names listed off on that sheet. And one of the very first ones that popped in my head was Crooked Path. And I was just trying to think of something that really fit um the kind of like weird and crazy way that Christopher and I do things whenever we investigate places. And I was like, oh, like crooked pass, something like that. And I don't know, it just kind of like the more and more I said it throughout the night, I was like, I really like this. So I immediately in the morning texted Christopher. I was like, hey, what do you think about Crooked Path Paranormal? And it just kind of stuck.
That's awesome. Let's see, what do I have anything else? I actually don't think I have any other questions. This was kind of one of those podcasts where I didn't really have any prep stuff done because since I'm on location and
Right.
It's all good. That's no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just look forward to seeing what is ahead for you guys, and we'll definitely keep in touch. And hopefully, Christopher, we can get an investigation together again soon and bring Noah along.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah,
I know,
that'd be amazing.
and I know we got Christopher and I have been talking about some stuff for next year. So we are doing um July, we're doing an investigation. Well, I'm doing an investigation organization with another guy where we're doing an all guys team one night and an all girls team the same night, but flipping between Madison and Fairfield. So maybe you want to get in on that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That would be absolutely amazing.
But yeah, we're just kind of getting the pieces all together now on who's interested. And yeah, I can shoot you some more details on that.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Thank you very much.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, I thank you for joining. I'm gonna kind of go see what's going on in this place because I've been hearing a lot of stuff upstairs, and I know now I'm the only one in the building.
Well, have
It's,
fun.
yes, I will, and I will be in touch.
Sounds
Absolutely. Well,
good.
thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you.
guys. Talk soon.
All
All
right,
right.
talk soon.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.